Good. Hello, my name is Jamie, and this is a tutorial on how to use Rigify for Blender 2.5. Rigify is an automated rigging system for Blender 2.5, made by Nathan Vigdal. Now, the easiest way to get a hold of it is to go to graphical.org and just download the latest build. As you can see here, I've got revision 33412, and this comes with Rigify all built in. So just to activate it, just go to File, and then User Preferences, and under Add-ons, just scroll all the way down, and under the rigging type here, you've got Rigify. And you can just enable that checkbox, and then hit Save as Default. Now I'm going to rig something a bit more interesting than a cube, so I'll just get rid of that, and I'll go to Import an Object, and under this folder, I've got this one. This is just from a model pack that I downloaded a little while ago. Now, you got to make sure you got your model all set up properly and good to go. So I'll just show you what you need to do for that. If it already is good, then you should just see what's going on here. I'll go into edit mode for this guy, and I'll show you why I'm not doing this in object mode shortly. And I'll just rotate him so that he's facing the front, and then he's moved a bit forwards off that axis, so I'll just center him up there and bring him up to stand just on top of the origin line there, and just sort of make sure that, yep, his middle goes through the middle of there. That's all good. So I'll just hit period on my keyboard and scale him down to be about the right size. These two units here are 2 Blender units, and that represents about 2 meters tall. So just go, that's all good right there. So just go to object mode, and I'll just hit N and show you. For the location and rotation, I got them set to 0, and this is for the object, and the scale is set to 1, which is perfect, exactly what you need. If those values aren't like that, then just go to object and then apply, and apply the location, the rotation, and the scale. I'll just smooth this guy out and hit Control 1 to throw in a quick subsurf, and he's looking alright. So to get the basic rig going, go to Add, Armature, and then the Human Metal Rig here, and that brings up a whole bunch of bones. And I'll just, under this object data, go to X-ray, and you can see the bones through the mesh. Not a worry. So these are all chains of bones that are set up, and they are set up in a way that Rigify reads them and creates a bunch of constraints around the shape of the bones. So what you got to do now is just arrange the bones to match your mesh, and I'll turn on X-axis mirror because everything is symmetrical, and this will save a lot of hassle later on. And I'll just start lining up these bones. I won't probably go do the hand quite yet because the palm isn't facing forwards. If yours is, then go ahead and do that now. And while moving these bones, make sure you just hit Z and go along the Z axis to keep those in a straight line. And I'll move these hips up, and then you've got the knees and the feet. So just go into side view and just quickly move these bones into place. Select that hand, move it there. I'll just hit comma to reset the location of that rotation point. And you'll notice there's a good bend in this arm, and that helps when you're generating the IK constraint. It tells the constraint which way to bend. If you've got the bend in the wrong direction, or if it's just straight, then you're likely to get a whole bunch of stuff happening that you don't want. I'll just move, and I'll just show you here the knee is the same. Even if this leg is a little bit straight, it's still possible to move that, because that would be a straight leg there. But if I've got this knee bone or the knee joint all the way as far as I can in that mesh, then it's just going to help keep everything going smoothly. Now these fingers are a little bit tedious, but it doesn't take long to do. Just got to line them up. The easiest way is to just do all these in this view, and we'll line up in the Z and the Y. And then all we've got to do is move them in the X to get them in the right position. Of course the thumb has one less joint. I'll just bring these down a bit and that guy out. And that's looking alright there. So we'll just go to a sort of 3/4 view and just move everything in the X. There we go. Just sort of get it centered up, and make sure again that you got a bit of a kink in the chain of bones, just here, maybe even there as well, to just sort of encourage the constraints that's going to be generated here to curl in the right direction. So again, just sort of bring those up, that one down a little bit, and then we'll get a nice curling going on. Let's move those in the X to get them in the right spot. Then maybe bring that one up, that one down a little bit. And it's just the same process over and over again for each of these fingers. It's probably best just to start with this X-axis, get it in the right area, and then just sort of eyeball it with the G key. Doesn't have to be a huge amount of curving, but you see that's about the right amount. Don't worry about the rest of this hand quite yet. We'll just get this bone, or this last finger. I want to get these bones in the finger a little bit more, so to bring everything down. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so just in the X-axis, and it's good to have this one a bit further along this hand, because there is some cool stuff that gets done with that. It's just the main hand bone that everything is sort of joined to. So that's looking about good to go. Yep. So into object mode, and you can feel free to move this guy out of the way, because what's going to happen is, in the shape of this, is going to be generated a whole bunch of bones with constraints, like in a separate armature. So you don't want to have both the sort of template armature and the generated armature to be in the same spot, because that's just going to be silly. So I'll just set the cursor to selected here to make sure there's no issues, and then with this selected, just down in the bottom of the object data buttons, you got this Rigify buttons, and just hit generate. Takes a few seconds, and as you can see, all the control bones have come up. They've all got custom shapes and everything, so it's a pretty easy to use rig. I've done a little bit of animation with it myself, so I can tell you it's a pretty good rig. To skin the actual character to the rig, you gotta go into pose mode, is the best way I found, and then hit X-ray so you can see everything that's going on. Select all these bones with A and hit H to hide them, and then shift left click on this armature layer here, and that shows up all your deformation bones, and they are what you want your actual mesh to be skinned to. So do that now. Control tab back into object mode and select the mesh, then the armature, and hit Control P, and then with automatic weights, and what that's done is create the armature constraint here, and it's given different weights to each of the bones, to the vertices around each of the bones relative to where they actually are. So it's pretty good for that. Yeah, so we can go back to pose mode and hit Alt H, and then in the object data just shift click on that layer again and it'll hide it, and you've got your control bones showing. Everything is skinned to the bones, which are controlled by all of this. So as I'll show you, everything's moving properly and these fingers should be fine. Not sure about that thumb because that constraint's a bit wacko, yeah. Probably a good fix for that would be just select the bones on the thumb in here. So this is the mesh, the template rig, and just hit Control N, and with the Z-axis, and that should hopefully fix it. Although by the looks of it, that might be partly my fault by the way those are actually curling anyway. Yeah, it looks like they're... It's just sort of encouraged, the way I put that curl in on this armature has encouraged those bones to sort of go that way. So there is a little bit of sort of testing and seeing what works that you got to do, especially with those fingers. But it's very easy to just... I'll even show you. I can delete this armature now, and it's probably best to go here, delete this armature modifier, and just regenerate the rig after making a quick couple of changes. So I've recalculated them. Actually, I'll Alt G on there to reset that position, and with the armature selected, sort of straighten these up a bit. And bring that one up. And that one up. And that should fix it. Those are looking the same as them. Yep. So, see how that goes. Just hit generate. And I'm running out of time now, so I'll just... So there's the template one. You can move that to a different layer. Show that. No, don't show that. Hide. Show. Control P. With automatic weights. Hide. Alt H, and yeah, now that's working properly. So I've got about 40 seconds left. It's a good idea to separate out these hair and eyeballs and stuff, and even the jacket, because they're gonna be a bit funny with the rigging. It's best to... You're probably going to want to spend a bit of time weight painting if you want everything to be perfect, because there is a bit of overlap, as you'll definitely see. Yeah, even there. See how stuff over the other side is moving. So I hope you found this helpful, and good luck with your rigs.